Hello, everyone. My name is Derek, and welcome back to the Gridiron Blitz. We got another video for you today. This is very interesting. I've made videos about this several times, and this is really heating up. It is Jalen Ramsey being traded after the Rams game, the final Rams game on the 13th, or after the final Rams game. Jalen tweeted that if this was it, he went out with the bang, referring to his last game against the Seattle Seahawks in Week 18. But this comes from NFL rumors yesterday. 4 teams that are expected to check on Jalen Ramsey's availability: the Lions, Steelers, Vikings, and Raiders. Now, before we go there, let's look at Jalen Ramsey, his salary for the 2023 NFL season. Jalen Ramsey in 2023, his birthday is in October. He will be 29 years old when the season begins. His base salary is $17 million. He has a signing bonus of $5 million. His cap hit is 25.2. His dead cap is 32.1 million. Now, that dead cap will go against the Rams. There's been some speculation as to where he could go. Now, the Detroit Lions, to me, are very intriguing. The Raiders, Vikings, and Steelers, they all have a shot at him too. I know the Steelers need some corners. I know the Vikings need some corners. Being a Detroit Lions fan, you all know this. But this team right here intrigues me. The Lions intrigue me because of the connection that we have with the LA Rams. Not only the reason Matthew Stafford was traded to the Rams, in my opinion, is because of Brad Holmes. Brad Holmes was the scouting director for the LA Rams before he took the job, the general manager job for the Detroit Lions. And we have made several trades. We traded for Michael Brockers after the Jared Goff trade. We traded Matthew Stafford. We got Jared Goff. We then traded for Michael Brockers. Trading with the LA Rams is something that we do. And every time there's a Ram, Cam Akers, whoever it is, on the trading block, it's always going to come back to Detroit. Detroit will have the most money that they've had since Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell took over. Right now, I think we're sitting at about $18 million. That's before we start cutting people and clearing up some cap space. With the right cuts, the Detroit Lions could add another 40 or 50 million as far as cap space to their 2023 NFL season. I do expect a free agent, substantial free agent, mid to high tier, to be signed by Detroit. Jalen Ramsey would be a quality trade, and I trust that Brad Holmes would do the right thing. Last year, he did pretty well, meaning Jalen Ramsey, but the biggest thing to me would be his cap hit if they could restructure it somehow when he came here. But this thing is really, really heating up that Jalen Ramsey is on the trade block. We know that. But these 4 teams, and I have to believe that the Detroit Lions, there's no way that the Detroit Lions are going to let the Minnesota Vikings have Jalen Ramsey. We already have to deal with Justin Jefferson, and the Chicago Bears have the number 1 pick. So we're thinking they're going to take a defensive player, probably Will Anderson. They could take Jalen Carter. They could take anybody, right? We think they're going to go Will Anderson, which means that that's somebody on the defensive line we're going to have to worry about. And bringing in Jalen Ramsey to the Minnesota Vikings would be something else we have to worry about. The Steelers, I'm not so sure if this would work, if they even are in the ballpark for him. I think that the rumor is true, but I think that, in my honest opinion, it's going to come down to the Raiders or Lions. He seems like he would fit as a Raider, but we have to get our hands on Jalen Ramsey. If the package is right, then we could get our hands on Jalen Ramsey. The Detroit Lions have 8 picks coming up in the 2023 NFL Draft. They have 3. It's front heavy. So they have 2 in the first, 2 in the second. They have 1 in the third. And then they don't have a 4th. They have a 5th. They have 2 6th and no 7th. Depending on the compensation that the LA Rams want, and a lot of NFL insiders and executives and general managers do not believe that they're going to get the compensation they're looking for. When he was traded to the LA Rams. The LA Rams gave up 2 first-round picks. Then they gave up 2 first-round picks for Matthew Stafford, and they tried to give up 2 first-round picks for Brian Burns. That would have meant that the LA Rams would not have had a first-round pick until 2026, but that fell through. So if the Detroit Lions maybe give up one of those first 5 picks and maybe a future pick, it is possible they could wind up with Jalen Ramsey. But let me know in the comments below, how likely do you think it is that Jalen Ramsey gets traded to any one of these teams? I think it's very likely. Usually when you hear these type of rumors, there are some validity behind them. Really is. Aaron Rodgers to Denver last year, I think it was huge. I think it was 100% true. And once he chose to stay in Green Bay, that's when the Russell Wilson trade happened. So Jalen Ramsey, man, I wouldn't mind for him to be a Detroit Lion. I'm a little worried about his kind of image and his behavior, and would he be a good fit for my team? But I have to trust that if Brad Holmes made a trade for him, that he could get to Jalen Ramsey, and that he believes that Jalen Ramsey would be just fine as a Detroit Lion. So let me know, Jalen Ramsey, how likely is it that you think he's traded, and how even more to one of these teams? Let me know. You guys are awesome. I will catch you in the next video. I told y'all, man, videos coming. I'll see you again. Peace.